took my best friends from their parents. I took them from having kids, getting married, a future. I took them from everything.
In my twisted, warped mind at that time, it was, I'm just sniffing heroin, so that's okay, but I'll never shoot it. And then something clicked in my head, and I forget, I think one of my friends was telling me, if you just get it right into your blood system, you don't waste as much and it hits you faster. So I just decided I would try it.
And I saw a needle on the floor. He was blue and unresponsive and had stopped breathing.
It all started when I was in middle school, and I began drinking with my friends.
In 7th grade, I started to drink and I started to smoke marijuana in 7th grade. I was 12 years old, 13 years old when I started making poor choices like that.
Probably sophomore year, he was taking pills and we didn't know it.
And prescription pills were pretty big at that point. I was about 14, 15 years old.
It pretty much just took a hold of my life. Alcohol and partying, I thought that's what mattered in my life at that point.
And he admitted to me that night that he had been using OxyContin.
We decided to go to a bar. We were all underage. I just turned 19.
And at that point, my life was spinning out of control so fast that all of my dreams of ever going to college were flushed down the drain.
We were in a car crash, and that we were driving home through Foxborough. I was speeding, and I was driving recklessly, and I lost control of my car. I killed my best friends. And if I just took 1 second that night to think of the consequences.
I had no idea the consequences that were going to follow.
I knew the consequences, we all did, but we didn't think anything was going to happen to us.
I ended up overdosing in the back seat, my first time shooting heroin, and I turned purple. I stopped breathing, and they took me out of the back seat and brought me into the woods, and were essentially leaving me there to die.
He's tried and tried and tried, and I pray every day that he'll make it. I really do, but it's a very harsh reality that he could die. The drug is winning, and it's frightening.
I probably used with about 10, 15 people. 5 of us are sober. About 6, well, probably about 5 of them are dead. The rest, the handful of them, I mean, they're either still off and running or they're in treatment programs in Florida, like they're all over the place. But 5 of us are lucky. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, not everyone makes it to the point where they're going to be okay when they come out on the other end.
There's a lot of mixed messages out there. Like in the media and TV and movies, you always see parties where just a bunch of teenagers are drinking and smoking and doing whatever. And you have your school where your teachers are telling you not to do it, you have your parents telling you not to do it, and it sometimes feels like everyone around you is drinking. And the fact is, not everyone is.
I don't drink because I'm an athlete, and it kind of would steer me off the wrong path of what my goals are with my life.
I don't really see any way that it would benefit me.
I don't drink because I feel like it would affect my judgment, and I feel like it would change who I am.
Really young, we're only in high school. There's no need to be drinking. Like, there's so many other things we can be doing with our lives.
I don't drink because I think there are so many other things you can do to have a good time. You don't necessarily have to go out and get drunk.
I know that not all teenagers want to drink, or I know that not all teenagers do drink because I don't drink. And my group of friends don't drink. The truth is, not everybody drinks.
It's a generalization. It's kind of a lie. Not everybody drinks.
Most of us probably don't do it. A lot of the people who do it assume that there's more people doing it, but there's actually a majority of us not drinking or using drugs.
One thing that like people always say and overgeneralize is that everybody drinks, and like the truth is that not everybody does. Like a lot of people will decide not to.
People that I'm friends with, we don't do alcohol. We don't drink on the weekends.
You don't need that kind of stuff like drinking or drugs or anything to be cool. Being cool is just being who you are.
Other people perceive it or act like it's cool, but deep down I feel like nobody's actually like, wow, that kid is so cool because he did that.
There are ways to have fun without doing alcohol or drugs, and it's okay to not want to do alcohol or drugs.
Not everyone is drinking, and you don't have to drink to be cool. You don't have to drink to be popular.
I've heard plenty of stories about people having drunken nights and done stupid things, and some of them I can laugh at, like if it's something simple, but sometimes it's just like, why would you do that to yourself? You're just making yourself look like a fool.
I always hear those stories, like Monday morning, people describing what they did, and like, to me, like as an outsider, because I don't participate in that, I'm just like looking at them, I'm like, well, that's kind of obnoxious. Like there's so many other things you could do.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of parties where people are drinking and doing other things, and really the best way that I can avoid it is I just tell people my intentions. I tell them I'm not interested.
I have been asked at a party before if I'd want to drink, and I just politely ask them, yeah, you can get me a Sprite.
Usually I try to just have initial refusal, just say no. If not, I'll try and get like one of my friends to back me up.
I would probably try to go on the side of the party that was more towards dancing or more towards just hanging out. Like if they're outside in the backyard smoking, then I'd probably go inside and grab a bite to eat or say hello to my friends. But if it got out of hand where like it started really becoming they were doing drugs everywhere, then I would just leave. That's not a type of environment that I'd like to be around anyway.
I'd be completely fine with calling my mom and telling her, I'm not comfortable here, will you come pick me up?
Teens feel probably uncomfortable talking to their parents about it at first, but it's like after a while you realize that they have a lot of good insight about ways to avoid it.
I can just text my mom or have her call me or something like that through text, tell her, hey, call me, and I'll just say, oh, we have to leave. I'll tell everyone, oh, sorry, we have to leave, and I'm giving them a ride. So that's our way to kind of get out of the situation if we feel uncomfortable.
If I was to call my father and say, okay, I'm done at the party, I want to go home, he'll just understand whether it's I really do want to go home or if I'm in a type of situation where I need to go home. He'll just come, pick me up, how's the party? I tell him, we talk about it, and then we just go home.
Teens probably don't expect that anything bad's going to happen to them, but the reality is that sometimes there are some bad things that can happen from their drinking.
And we did it so much that the consequences started to fade away.
And I had no idea the consequences that were going to follow.
I have a really close friend of mine that I was really close with her, and I just saw her get complete alcohol poisoning, and it's really upsetting just to see somebody so hurt and so helpless.
A lot of kids have had an experience where they've been driven home by somebody who was high or even drunk, and nothing happened, so they think it's fine.
But everybody thinks they're fine when they're drinking.
But just because you got away with it the first time or you got lucky the second time, something can go wrong.
I killed my best friends.